photographers and videographers, listen to me. This right here, this is the type of information that's preventing you from doing this for a living. This video was shared probably 100,000 times. I don't know these people, got nothing against them, but this information right here will kill your business. Just listen to what they got to say.
I think this is why you need to have an artistic style clause in your contract.
100%.
This is why you need to have one. And if you're not familiar what that is, let's educate them on this.
Okay.
Okay, first off, you're not being hired as an artist. If you're an artist, you go create, post it, and people buy it. That's not why you're being hired. You're being hired to create content that's designed to get result, whether it's a call to action or whatever. But let me play the rest. Let's keep going.
So an artistic style clause is basically you're not going to edit the images beyond the representation of what your style is, your artistic style. So you're not going to alter or manipulate photos beyond what your look is, okay?
It essentially says, like, the client understands that this is what the photographer's style is, and that signing this agreement means that no re-edits will be given outside of their photographic style.
Yeah.
Okay. With all due respect to these two and this channel, I've never heard of them. I have no relation to them. It just popped up on my timeline. That is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. That is career suicide. That is the equivalent of going to Burger King, ordering a cheeseburger and saying, hey, don't put lettuce on it. And they're saying, we're going to put lettuce on it because it looks good with lettuce. They're not hiring you to be an artist. They're hiring you to create content that does something. If the client says, Photoshop my mouth off and put us on the moon, you Photoshop the mouth off and put them on the moon. It's not about your creative style. You're doing this for the client. It's their money they are spending. And do you think a client who you point out a clause, I'm not doing any more revisions, any more edits beyond my style, you think they're calling you back? You think they're going to be a lifelong client? You think they're going to refer you? You may not even get the rest of your deposit back messing with this stuff. Let's keep going.
So if you don't have that in your contract, I definitely recommend putting that in there, just because of the fact that if there's one thing CBA can teach photographers is that if you don't have an artistic style clause, you need to have one in there. I believe she had one in there, and that's why, you know, the adjustments she made and everything that she made was representative of her work, right? So I think that if you don't have that in there, you need to. We definitely.
This is not 1986. Your logo will not be plastered on every piece of photography content you create for businesses or companies. It's not going to link back to you the way it's going to link back to you. You know what will link back to you? Creating content that gets results for that client so that they can refer your business. You're not going to have this big old watermark in the corner. This is not 1986. If you don't want it to link back to you from somebody looking at it, it won't. The thing is making sure the client is happy with the content. Period. That should be number one. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. It get worse.
I recommend, you know, looking into like the legal page or the law tog who have those clauses. Those are really necessary to have as photographers. And I did want to talk about that real quick because, you know, when, like, if the client's taste change and you don't have that clause, yeah, they could request that. They could actually request that.
Okay, let's be real. If you're not in the field, this sounds legitimate. If you're not working with photography clients every day, if you're not working with businesses, this sounds legitimate. A client will never have a change of taste. You have a certain amount of revisions in your contract, but not this. It has nothing to do with how you feel about the content. You're there to create content to do something. Listen, they don't want pictures. Clients don't hire you because they want pictures. They hire you because they have to have content that does something for them. A content with a strong call to action. A content that evokes emotion and it makes the viewers take action. That is how they get their return on investment. Create an image I put on my page to make you want to buy from me. What that client knows their audience better than you know their audience. So if they say Photoshop my mouth off and put me on the moon, you do it. You don't say, oh, well, my style don't really, we don't touch mouths with my, no. You will be fired quick. You will be blackballed and you will be out of the industry because you can't follow directions, especially when you're being paid to. Get rid of your artistic ego. This is not the place for it. That is for when you create art for yourself, not for the client. Let's keep listening.
That blows.
That sucks ass.
This is mind blowing. This is the information that's put out. And people are taking this information and wondering why they're not having success working with businesses. They're not having success working with clients, wondering why they're not getting referrals. This is the reason why you're listening to people who are not out in the field really doing this. This is the craziest thing. This sounds good. This is one of those clips, and I'm just going to shoot it straight with you. That sounds good to hear as a photographer or a videographer if you're not in the field, if you're not really doing this. This is designed to be shared, liked, and passed around because it strokes the ego of artists. Because we want to be artists. But the truth is, everybody have a camera these days. Everybody. They're not hiring you to create art. They're hiring you to create content that drives their audience to do something. That's where their return on investment is. I pay $1,000 to create a picture, and I'm just dumbing it down. And that picture on my website increased my sales by 10%, which makes me $10,000. That is why you are hired. The moment you think you're hired to be this great artist, you have failed. The client is your boss. You need to work to make sure the client get what they need and they're happy with it and they get the results. Now, if your pushback is saying, hey, we don't think that this will work because we've worked with 10 companies like it and this is what we did, that is completely different than saying, well, my style don't call for making the reds pop. I know you're Coca-Cola, but my style, we can't make that red pop the way you want it to pop, Mr. Coca-Cola, because my style don't offer it. You should have researched my style before you hired me. How does that sound? Stop following this type of information. You will be out of business listening to this. You will never get into business listening to this. And this goes for business owners and freelancers, even hobbyists. This is the type of information that you will be out of business and wondering why everybody around you are growing and you are fighting clients on your style clause because your clause you don't really go that far with editing. Don't do that. Anyway, when you're ready to learn the business side and you're ready to understand what you should be doing to attract, grow, and keep big clients, come see me at FlashFilmAcademy.com. All right, I can't make this stuff up, y'all. This video has, I think, 100,000 views. That means there's 100,000 photographers that saw this who are trying to get in the game saying, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, I'm not about to edit beyond my style. You're not going to make it. This is what, when I talk about old 1995, 86 information that's being regurgitated to sound like it's business, this is what I'm talking about. It is what it is. I'll see y'all in the future.